Okay, it says it's live. All right, I'm Bradley Thomas with The Art of Changing Your Life, and this is the Take the Road to Freedom Summit. And today, my guest is Tanya Penny. She's an abundance catalyst and freedom coach. Welcome, Tanya.
Hello, Bradley. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Super excited for our interview.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm putting together this whole thing that I want people to be able to find their purpose because once you know your purpose, you're able to make decisions faster, make more money, and everything in life just gets easier because you have a base or a foundation which to pull from everything, pull confidence, pull more happiness. It just really helps make everything easier, except for speaking with me and being in front of camera. So yeah, if you can, would you share, your story, how you kind of got started, into coaching, and we'll kind of start from there.
Yeah, I would love to share. Boy, I could probably share for hours, but I know we don't have hours. So I guess, I guess in a nutshell, really my catalyst to becoming a coach, there's two pieces to it. One is that I have a history of not only having a chronic illness. I was diagnosed with MS in 2004, which put me on the health and healing path, like, getting really serious about it. And even before that, I would say, I went to school as for occupational therapy,
Hmm.
so kind of a helping profession, and just always knowing that I was here to help people, to support people. And really, I would say that on the health piece of it, for a lot of us and a lot of the clients that I tend to work with, our catalyst for really finding our purpose tends to be having that chronic illness, or also in my past a lot of abuse and trauma, and so having to heal that, so that those past kind of things, struggles, tend to be the catalyst, or were the catalyst for me and a lot of the people I see for finding my purpose, and living that. And I would say the on the flip side with the occupational therapy piece, and I don't know if you felt this way when you were doing your day job, before
Yeah,
you went
my
into
corporate
coaching.
my corporate job. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was like, okay, like I know that I'm here to support people and help people, but I really hate being told what to do. And I really want
Yeah.
to do things my way. And I want a lot of freedom. Like I want freedom to travel and,
Yeah.
and do what I love. So yeah, I think I just got really frustrated as an occupational therapist working for somebody else in a rehab setting.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just really feeling like, oh, I want to find that freedom. I want to do it my way, and that wasn't really allowing me to do that. So that kind of frustration um, was really also a catalyst to push me into starting my own business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say those are probably the two pieces of my story that really were the catalyst for pushing me. And I think, like I said before, a lot of us, that we have something like that it's like, ah, I can't stand this anymore. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta look. I gotta look for something.
Yeah, through this whole series, I've done a number of them now, and it seems to be there's that common thread of like something happens that some people it's a rock bottom, or it's a
Yes.
sometimes it's like for me, I wouldn't compare my rock bottom of living in a nice house and having a nice car as like the worst thing in the world. Obviously it's not, but for me,
Yeah.
I just had a really big feeling of being really unfulfilled and not happy and all the
And I'm glad
stuff
you.
wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm so glad you brought that up, because I know for a lot of us, it's so interesting. Our egos tend to compare, right? Our bottom to other people's bottoms, but a bottom can be, I like to call it a dark night of the soul as well.
Mm.
And it's kind of that, like, man, we just feel in a dark place, whether it's, some of us, it's that spiritual, oh, I'm not fulfilled. Some of it's our body is in breakdown, like a chronic illness. So that mind, body, spirit, right? So one of those pieces is having that, like, breakdown, that dark night. So yeah, for you, it's not like, oh, you, like, people might look at you and say, oh, but you have this nice house and these cars. Like, how can you be unhappy? And it's like, because in your soul, there's something that's not fulfilled.
Yeah.
something that's not right. And I think, yeah, for a lot of us it's one thing, for some of us it's a couple. For me it was all three. The MS physically affected me. I was bedridden for a couple of months
Wow.
actually. So that was a big piece. And then I struggled with anxiety most of my life, anxiety and depression. So that was a big piece. And then just that feeling unfulfilled in my purpose, in my career as well. So yeah, I think that's good to anybody listening to this. Like yours might look different than somebody else's, but we're not here to compare.
Yeah, yeah, it's really that feeling that you get that helps bring that out. It's like you can't take it anymore. You really don't want to. The thing that revolves or that comes back to me is like you don't want to be on your deathbed and regret something, and
Absolutely.
that's what kept coming back for me, and it's like, well, I have to start taking action, and I didn't feel like I was. I mean, I felt like I had to do something,
Yes.
but you also feel like that secure feeling of have the job, and how do you balance, leaving a secure job in corporate to do something on your own, or maybe it's not that, maybe it's you want to. The idea that comes to mind is like a lot of some people may have been pushed to go in a direction in their life that they didn't feel. Like say they became a doctor or a lawyer, but that really wasn't them, and
Yes.
they really want to go do something else,
Yes.
something that means something to them. Is how do you transfer from that security blanket of money and comfort to really stepping into what is your own purpose?
I think for a lot of people and a lot of my clients, it's interesting. A lot of people come to me and they're ready for that, but they need that support and like, oh my God, like, how do I do this? And, a big piece for me and my experience with making that transition was, and man, I was not only going through, I felt like I was being called to like leave my secure job,
Yeah.
and I was being called to leave my marriage almost at the same time. And my marriage was my like financial
Yeah.
support at the time too, right? So it's like, oh my gosh, how do we do this? And I feel one of the big pieces is that really having that, you can call it faith, you can call it trust in the universe, but it's knowing that we're always supported.
Hmm.
So there's that's one of the pieces that I really had to work on for myself, and then also with my clients, like really trusting my inner guru, like right? Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is what my heart's calling me to do. I have no idea. Like the ego wants to know how first
Yeah. That's a good way
before
to put
it
it. I like that. Yeah.
right? Before it says yes to something. And what I have found in my experience and most of my clients is sometimes we're being called to take that leap of faith and really trusting that this is the way we're supposed to go. So trusting ourselves in something bigger and then taking that leap of faith. And once you do that, the next door will open. So, like for me, I was called to leave my job, and I had started my coaching or a little bit before I actually left, but I was by no means self-supportive, right? I couldn't have supported myself at that point. Um, I'm thinking I actually cashed out my 401k to help me take that leap of faith. So I'm just sharing with you guys. I did something that everybody says, "Oh my God, you can't do that." I cashed
I
out my
did.
40. Did
Yeah,
you
I
do that
did.
too?
I didn't do all of it, but I did do some of it to really. To me, it was. If I could add something to that, is that if you're
Yes.
going to really take that risk, is that what it meant to me is like I'm willing to bet everything on myself.
Yes. I believed
And
enough in myself.
yeah,
Yeah. And I think that's another piece too, is really having that deep sense of self-worth and really believing in yourself is really important, to make that transition too. And then I didn't cash it all out at one time. I did end up cashing it all out, but at one point I cashed it like half. So that's something that I say to my clients, like it's okay to do that, like to follow your dreams. Sometimes we have to do that if we don't have the other financial support. The other thing that happened when I put in my resignation at the hospital, I gave like a month notice, is that so I did that, and yes, I was still there, but then another door opened. A doctor that actually had given me a lot of referrals
hmm,
um, heard that I was leaving, and he said, "Would you come and work for me at my business?" It was a sleep clinic, and part-time, however much you want to do. So it was kind of like a stepping stone job.
Yeah.
So to remember that, sometimes we have to say yes to something for then another door to open.
Hmm.
And then also, it's okay to have what I call a stepping stone job or career
Yeah. Bridging
that
the
will,
gap.
yeah, it helps bridge the gap. As long as it's something that you still feel you like to do
Hmm.
and is taking you in the direction of your dreams, right?
Yeah.
So, so that's what happened for me, and it helped me to build my business while still having some secure income coming in. Because that's the other thing I find for a lot of my a lot of the people that I coach, and maybe you do this too, is that we just quit and then we have nothing else, and then we're putting so much pressure on ourselves in our business that it actually cuts off the flow because desperation doesn't attract clients, does it?
No. No, it
So,
doesn't attract anybody in any sense.
oh, no,
Uh,
my God, and it creates so much stress that a lot of people end up burning out and then quitting. And
yeah.
then saying that they failed, and that's not really giving themselves a fair chance. So for any of you listening who might be in that position, like, it's okay to give yourself permission to get a part-time stepping stone job while you're growing your business to take some of that pressure off.
Yeah.
I just find that opens the flow for it did for me and for my clients to really then make decisions from a place of your heart and your soul versus that desperate ego, fear, and scarcity.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's, about ready to make the leap and, you could find a job that aligns with your vision and goal. And
Yes.
it could just be a really good, use that experience as um, something to learn that you're
Yes.
going to take into it, like you said, just something
Absolutely.
part-time, and it makes sense, and it all starts aligning, and you're starting to be more fulfilled in what you're doing, and it all starts
Yes.
to kind of roll together and build up, if you
Absolutely.
will,
Because a lot of times, and maybe you felt this way too, when I was working full time at my quote unquote day job, which was still a piece, me being an occupational therapist was a huge piece to a stepping stone to me coaching. But it got to the point where I was like, I can't do that full time and grow my business.
yeah,
So what can I do that's part time, like you just said, that is still going to provide some income and satisfaction, fulfillment, while I'm growing my ideal um, right here, right? So one thing, and may I share a tool that I use with my clients?
yeah, please. That's what this is all
One,
about.
yeah, cool. So one thing I do is, first of all, I have them, map out their ideal dream business coaching. I usually work with coaches and healers. So your ideal healing coaching business, what that looks like. How
Hmm.
many hours you'll be working, how many clients, how will you be seeing your clients, money, boom, all of it, right? But then I have them also do a list of ideal stepping stone career qualities. So, that might be 20 hours a week doing, whatever it is that you like to do still. And what kind of money do you want to bring in with that? So I have both pieces.
Hmm.
You've got your stepping stone list of qualities and then your ideal. And always make sure, I always like to make sure that our life is not just about doing our business, it's about living everything in our life, right? Abundance means having love, time to go do other things we love besides our business,
Yeah.
right? So time, money, energy, your health, right? If we don't have our
Yeah.
health, and I know that from personal experience, then we really don't have anything. So make sure the business you want to create fits into the life that you want versus your life fitting into your business.
Yeah, it all kind of
Yeah.
needs to align. And like right now, I'm working on some workshops that align with yoga,
Hmm.
and it all kind of fits in together,
Absolutely.
and that's the cool part. And I was talking to a guy in my mastermind, and he was like, "This is perfect. You're aligning everything together, and you're going to draw those clients that you want to work with at the same time, and you get to express what you want to do and what you want to say, and they love hearing it, and it all really works together."
Yeah,
So,
I think that totally speaks to the fact that we can create anything that we desire. I think so many of us grew up in either families or cultures where you could have this, but you couldn't have that. Like you couldn't have everything. You know,
Yeah.
I grew up in a family. My parents are blue collar factory workers, and so not only do they not make a ton of money, they really don't love what they do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for me, it was really about, and a lot of people I know, it's about letting go of those beliefs that are holding you back from really creating all that you desire, and knowing that you really can have it all and you can do it your way. You know, whether it's the programs you create and like you're talking about your workshops. You know, I really love to travel, so it was really
Me
important for
too.
me to, yeah, woo! It was really, I think a lot of people listening probably, even if you don't travel a lot right now, maybe you love to travel and explore, but mine was like, oh, how can I grow my business so that I can move whenever I want to? Because I kind of like to move a lot. I like to, yeah, I like to explore a lot. I like to travel. And, you know, so part of my business is virtual. A lot of it's virtual, but now, you know, I also love to take women on adventures and do my coaching while we're doing like a personal retreat or a small group retreat. So really like taking people to cool places like Sedona and Zion National Park, and being able to do it my way. So to anyone listening, I guess what we're both trying to say is you can have it your way, right? You can have it all and you can have it your way.
Two, three. Okay, we're back. We had a technical glitch, i.e., my computer crashed completely. So sorry about that, guys. Just completely froze up. So if we look frozen, apologies. So, anyways, we
It
were talking.
happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we were talking about, really, designing and building the business that you really wanted. Can you go a little more into that? That how you kind of created this grand vision for yourself of traveling and helping people at the same time?
Yeah, I think a big piece for me was realizing that really, I guess really believing that I could have anything I wanted and have it my way.
Hmm.
Um, because I grew up in a family where, and I think I mentioned before, not sure if it'll,
Yeah.
but
You said blue collar.
yeah, that might, you know, I really grew up in probably what a lot of people do, you know, just limits on what we can have and what we can do. And even like a belief, perhaps. I work a lot with mindset and beliefs. And so really looking at the beliefs that hold us back from having everything we want, whether it's business, whether it's making a certain amount of money, whether it's relationships, so all of it, right? Really that abundant life, having everything you want. Like, so what is the thing, or are the beliefs that are holding you back that could possibly be holding you back from creating that business and life that you desire? I know that a lot of people like myself were into law of attraction, and I still am. And I think there is one little piece that the law, and it's not actually so little, that law of attraction misses. And that's if we are holding these subconscious, unconscious beliefs
Hmm.
that no matter what you affirm or what you desire or what you focus on, it's not going to fully manifest because you're not going to be open to receiving it. The universe might be trying to bring it to you, but because,
Yeah.
right? But because of the beliefs you hold that usually come from family and culture that are limiting, self-limiting, whether it's how much money you can make, right? My family has a ceiling of, you know, making 60 to 70,000 a year because of their, you know, what
Beliefs.
they do and their beliefs, right? And you know, so last year I really worked on that, releasing that, and created a tool actually, and I'll talk to you guys about it in a little bit, my therapeutic meditation process. But it really, really helped me to discover and then shift those beliefs. And my business actually went doubled last year, and I think that was a big piece of it was letting go of that ceiling,
Yeah.
right? Letting go of that ceiling. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is really you can have anything you want. So that's the first thing that you can work on shifting, right? Is that belief
Yep.
that you can't have it all, and then to look at each area of your life and what would it really look like to have it all, to have full abundance in all your areas, right? Business, purpose, money, love, living your passions,
Yeah.
um, all of it. And when you're looking at those things and you hear that little voice in your head that says, you can't have that, or you're asking for too much, or that's
Yeah.
selfish, or blah, 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 blah. Whoops, that you actually write those beliefs down, because we need to shift them either through, my tool, TM therapeutic meditation process. Some people like tapping. So whatever tool you want to use, you need to discover and shift those beliefs that are limiting and holding you back from creating the business and the life that you really desire and deserve,
Yeah, yeah. I
actually.
think I think there's so you said something, like when your beliefs are holding you back and things start aligning in life, or that you think they don't. Like if you want to go do something and then an opportunity comes up and you say no because you're scared.
Right.
That scared feeling is probably a limiting belief somewhere, and
Yes.
that opportunity that just showed up in your life is probably not the first one and probably won't be the last if that's what you really desire. But you
Yes.
have to figure out how to step into that, and that's part of the process of, like, just kind of taking hold and moving towards it. And it's people like yourself and myself and other coaches that are able to help people do that, and
Yes.
find that belief in yourself that is really kind of holding you back. And even for, I mean, I'm still currently working on myself, and I think it's always an evolving process, and I'm sure you're
Absolutely.
doing the same thing.
Work in
um,
progress.
yeah, it's always a work in progress, and but we can, by having that other person on your side to see and hear everything that's coming out, and just to repeat it back sometimes, it's so clear and obvious when you hear it. You're like, oh my God, like I really think like that? And like, well, that's what you just said, and it's like, then
Yeah.
from there, how do you, then from there, it's our job to actually help them step through that, and kind of
Absolutely.
work onto it. Is
Absolutely.
If someone's on watching right now, and they don't have a coach, obviously they should reach out to someone. Either would love to talk to me or talk to you, obviously. But if they're sitting there and they want to start doing something today, what's something that they can actually do to start releasing some of those limiting beliefs?
Yeah, so you just said a bunch of really great stuff, so I just want to make a few points and then get into that. Is yes, that we so often we can start doing it by ourselves, perhaps. Like, my journey was, I did start doing it on my own, but then I ended up having a huge support team of healers and coaches that have walked the path with me.
Hmm.
So that believing that I had to do it alone or there was something wrong with me, like I had to put that to the side. And again, it's about receiving, right? Like receiving support.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to ask for help and get support. And even for coaches like me and you, I still have a coach. I always have a coach,
Yeah.
because it's so hard when you're in it sometimes, even when we do what we do, to shine that light on your own stuff,
Yeah.
right? So
Yep.
it's like, because we're so conditioned and we're so yeah, I think it's really important to have a coach and or support person that helps you shine the light, but then also teaches you the tools, right? And so, yeah, for those of you listening, um, what I would recommend to start with is one, definitely start to look at what you really want in life, and if you could have it all. Like, let's say you could have anything you wanted, business and life, what would that look like? And then as you're writing that down, pay attention to the voice in your head and what it says. Have another piece of paper and start writing that down, because those are your beliefs. So I feel that awareness is the key to start changing anything. So if you're doing this on your own, and you can definitely start on your own, start looking at what you want, and then listen to the voice in the head and write down what it says when you start writing down what you want.
Yeah. It's
Because those are the beliefs that are going to hold you back from having that, right?
Yeah.
I would say then, when you're ready to move forward, you can start looking for some tools to help shift those beliefs. So I work with my clients on, yes, we need to take actions, and some of those actions are looking at and shifting your beliefs, so that you can then take more baby steps or actual physical, what I call inspired action
Yeah.
steps, to creating, right? So I believe we need both of those. So whether you find some tools on your own, whether it be tapping or whatever that might be, but that really working, find a coach that resonates with you, I would say,
Hmm.
and and the tools that they use that really resonate with you, and actually invest in yourself, whether it be starting with, when I first got into coaching, I invested in just a group program. And then I really started to feel that I needed more one-on-one attention, so then invested in one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
You got to start where you can start, but just get started.
Yeah.
Get started somewhere.
Do something.
Yeah. And some people start with an audio program. That's great. But really, that's a big piece, is getting that support and learning the tools that are going to help you move forward and take those actions. But yeah, I would start with those.
Yeah, and I always like to remind people too, like, you may have your friends and family that love and support you, but when you're trying to shift into something new and big and scary for yourself, those friends and family are going to want to love and support you and keep you nurtured. They don't want to they want to keep you safe. So if you want to go do some big hairy goal that could, you're going to take your life savings out, they're gonna probably retract and say, you are crazy and you should probably just keep your money and
because they got their own,
pay your bills.
Because they've got their own fears and their own beliefs.
Yeah.
And so I thank you for bringing that up. When I say support, usually from somebody who is objective, not somebody who is, a family definitely can. For most people, family is probably not your support to really move out of and do big things. I'm not saying that for everybody. Some people's family are very much. Mine was not. Mine was not. And even your friends, same thing. So I think you're right on, Bradley, that really finding that objective person, whether it be a counselor, a coach, that you resonate with, that has tools that resonate with you, and really show up in a very non-judgmental.
Yeah, that's really key.
Yeah, really, because those closest to us usually cannot be the most supportive for these big things that we want to start doing.
They want to be really supportive, but at the same time, they don't want to see you hurt, and they just go back into
fear, right?
Their mindset. Now, if they're on the other side of the picture, and your family is a bunch of coaches and mentors, like if your dad's Tony Robbins or something, then I'm sure he will be supportive and really let you, kind of go for it. But yeah, some might not. I don't want to put it out there that all your family, that everybody's family is not going to be supportive.
No, absolutely.
But I do want to say too is, like, once you start telling people that what you're doing, that's when you're announcing, to universe, to God, that these are your intentions and they feel right and purposeful, and then things start aligning, and your family and friends will start supporting you in that manner. Once they really, have that understanding that this really lights you up and you're going in the right direction.
Absolutely, and I feel that you saying that's so important, because we're not saying that your friends and family can't be supportive, but they might not be on the path right away with you.
Yeah.
For lots of reasons, their own fears and all that stuff, not wanting you to get hurt, and and they may come along with you after a while, and for me and some of my clients, that doesn't happen, and that's okay too. You'll find, I think that's another piece, is just really finding what I call it a circle of support.
Mm-hmm.
So, surrounding yourself with people that are wanting to walk that path with you, and also knowing not everybody in your past is going to go with you on that journey, and that's okay. It doesn't always feel good, but that's one thing I really work a lot on with my clients, is being willing to let go.
Yeah.
Right? The things that are no longer in alignment, and that sometimes is people and relationships.
Yeah, and there's going to be opportunities that show up too. And I had this, for instance, yesterday. I wanted to work with a lady here locally and see if there's a way we could collaborate, because she has an audience of people that is really aligned with my message, and I thought it would be a good partnership. But it's just not, over the emails, I just got the sense that she didn't want to work together. And it wasn't anything about me. It's that her business is really blowing up and going to the next level, and I'm just not going to be a part of that. And that's totally fine.
Absolutely.
But at the first step, you do get that sense of like rejection and like, oh, now I'm stumbling and stuff like that. And it's just, sometimes you just need to take a moment to remember that sometimes when you're working with people, they have their own agenda, and it
Yes.
may not align with yours, even though on the surface it might actually look like it will. And don't beat yourself up over that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And it's I think that's great because it's not like we're not good enough or we're better than if it's us saying, you're not in alignment and I need to move on. And whether it's personal or professionally, right? I think that happens in all areas is that, nobody is it's that nobody's good and nobody's bad or right or wrong. It's like we're just not in alignment anymore.
Yeah.
And, I've had that with friendships. I've had that with family. I've had that with business partnerships with colleagues like you're talking about where, maybe for a year we were in alignment with supporting each other and our ideal clients, and now maybe we're not. And it's okay to let that go with love
Mm-hmm.
and acceptance and not make it about they're bad or not good enough or I'm bad and not good enough. It's like we're just not in alignment. Cool, let's move on and find people that we can play with that are in alignment.
Yeah, ice cream doesn't always go with broccoli. Every
No.
once in a while, it might.
Actually, never. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I really don't see how it could. But I'm. You never know. Who knows? Someone may have tried it and it could have come out great, and it works for them.
Hey, to each his own. To
Yeah,
each his own.
yeah. If you want broccoli flavored ice cream, send me a shipment. Make sure it's frozen. So yeah, I wanted to kind of we're getting close to the end here, and I wanted to kind of bring it back to finding your purpose a little more. And what are some of the other tools in your toolbox when you're working with your clients to help them feel more or discover within what their their purpose and calling is?
Yeah. So there's two things I really have my clients do when people come to me and they're not quite sure what their purpose is. I have them look back, first of all, on their challenges or struggles in their life, because I believe that our challenges or struggles are very much a key or a catalyst or a clue to what we're here to do today. Like, my struggles with, like I said before, my illness and, all that kind of stuff was like, yeah, that was a piece for me that really, oh yeah, I'm here to, and then me finding how to heal that stuff was like, okay, I'm supposed to do this to help other people to do this. So really look at what have you struggled with or what have your challenges been, and that might be a key or a clue. So write down maybe what those ones that really stand out are. And then the other side of that is, what do you love to do? Like, what really lights you up? Like, I absolutely love supporting people, and I seem to draw a lot of women, to look at what's holding them back and really empowering them and helping them move into what they're here to do and what they love to do, right? So what you love and what you struggle with, they're both on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But they tend to be keys to you finding your purpose.
And how do you combine those?
Yeah, how do I?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like once you have those,
yeah,
then the question comes, how do I combine helping people and my past experiences where I struggled? And just asking that question starts bridging that gap.
Yeah, so I feel a lot of people, especially people that are listening to this summit, they're probably meant to be some sort of a coach or healer type person, right? It may look different. People. Yes, they're here to support people, and they're here to do it with something that they are both good at. Like, so that's the thing that they love piece. So what you love and what you're good at. And then, okay, I've struggled with this. So like for yourself, right? You struggled with, here you were in corporate, and even though you may have, it was like, this isn't, so yours is like to help other people that are in that situation.
Yeah, where they just leave their job and they feel like because especially in IT work, you can be so disconnected from the actual person.
Yes.
You're just another little thing on the internet, and it's not fulfilling,
Absolutely.
It's like you getting likes on Facebook. You're like, yeah, that's nice, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're not cheering on everybody, and it's not lighting you up.
Right.
I would say probably most of the time. There's probably
it's not truly fulfilling the part of you that wants to that wants to get out there and help others. So yeah, and for me, I mean, the thing, my biggest challenge was, if you go all the way back, was my past. I have a rich history of past abuse and trauma growing up, and so that stuff I think was definitely integrated or a part of me getting sick with the multiple sclerosis even. And so yeah, so me getting through that, gosh, I'd love to help other people, especially women, to take care of that, heal that stuff so that they can, I think they're supposed to be doing that too, what I do.
Yeah, move
So
forward.
so yeah, it's really bringing that together, and that other piece, right? Knowing that you can, what would that ideal business look like for you? Like your purpose, maybe it's not working just for yourself. It could be doing something else too, working for somebody else, doing what you love, for sure. But really looking out, what are the qualities? Like, do I want flexibility in my work schedule? Do I want to get paid a certain amount? Like, so what is it that you want, I guess, would be the third piece. Like really looking at everything you want, like we talked about before. And then what is that voice that tells me I can't have it? So I think like bringing that all together, and I think a lot of coaches, that's what we're here to do, is to help people like look at all these things, but just looking at them is not enough. It's like, how do we bring them all together? And that's the piece where, we don't have enough time to do that on this video series.
I mean, real change, you can do an exercise in a matter of a couple hours or just a few minutes, and you can feel a little more aligned with what you want to do. But taking those action steps can take, months, a year, a couple of years. It really depends upon how big of a shift that you're making, and how far and how high you want to go with,
and I think,
in that.
Absolutely. And I feel, too, that it also, I want to tell everybody listening, you can never not be on your path. So that's another thing that I feel a lot of our egos say is we're not doing it fast enough, or we made mistakes in the past, so now, we've lost that opportunity. And it's like everything you've done up until today, even watching this interview, is part of your path. You haven't messed up. You didn't fail. You didn't make any mistakes.
Just get a new opportunity.
You are exactly where you need to be. And so to remember that in moving forward, for sure, and that there's divine timing, I believe, in everything, right? So you're going to create what you're here to create, and you came to this interview because you were called to it in some way, shape, or form, and it's part of your path. Yeah. So just to remember that, like it all unfolds in divine timing is what I really try to remember for myself, because I can get impatient.
That's why you have a coach, is because you're going to forget at some point, and you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to be like, why isn't this working? I thought I had it all figured out. And then, he or she, your coaches, she will be like, well, it's just because this, and this. And you're like, oh, yeah, duh.
We never have it all figured out. That's like such a ego thing, right? Like if we could just figure it all out today, it's like that ain't gonna happen.
Even the millionaires and billionaires who say they have, or it looks like they have it all figured out, they still have their struggles. They still have things that are going on in their head, and they feel insecure about, and that they're stepping in. It never really ends, and it's just being okay and being comfortable with the process is
well,
really
it's enjoying the journey, right? I mean, we're not here for an end result. I had many clients actually, that ask, do you ever think we're going to get to that point, or that you're going to get like to that point where there's nothing else to work on, or blah? And I'm like, no, I don't believe we'd still be here. And it's not like we have to work on ourselves to be better. I believe it's so that we can become more of who we really are, and really do more of what we're here to do and be.
Yeah.
But that it's supposed to be fun along the way. It's not supposed to be like, whether it's hard work or growing your business, healing or growing your business, it's not supposed to be hard work and all struggle and like pain, right? It's supposed to be like fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be figuring it out, just having, enjoying the journey. So,
accepting, all of it. Bradley, I wanted to just make sure, is it okay if I share my free gift with everybody?
Yeah, exactly. I was actually going to say, now that we're winding down, why don't you tell everybody who's watching, like, who your ideal client is, who you love to work with, and those type of people love to work with you. I want you to go ahead and describe them, and then tell us about the free gift you get.
Awesome. I would say that at this moment, and it's always changing, my ideal client typically is a coach or wants to be a coach, healer, or leader. I typically attract women, but I do work with some what I call brave men, a few brave men.
What do you make those guys do? Jeez.
And those of you who've struggled, either are struggling with or have struggled with past abuse or trauma and or a chronic illness, a lot of people that come to me have a really type A personality or a harsh inner critic, perfectionist. And that's really, all of that stuff is really the stuff holding you back. So those are the people that I love to work with. And whether you know your purpose or not, that's actually a part of our work together usually. Some people will say, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to be a coach or do this or that, so I don't think I can work with you. And it's like, well, you're actually coming to me for a reason. And so those are typically my ideal clients. And the good news is that if you come to me and I don't feel like we're a good fit, I will refer you to another coach like Bradley, or I have a list of coaches that I refer out because I really do believe in having full alignment. Obviously with your coach too, so you get the results that you want.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think alignment is key, and there's some people that you're just not a good fit for them, and they're not a good fit for you. And
yes.
you're not gonna be able to help them the way that they really probably need it. And having someone, a network of other coaches that you can send those type of people to that is going to fit them best is really awesome. So.
Absolutely, because we're not here to help everybody. We're here to help our people.
Sometimes you feel like you want to help everybody, but it's
absolutely. Yeah, and we do, and maybe sometimes that is referring to somebody else.
Yeah.
So and so I do a lot of with my clients. People ask me, do you just work on the healing stuff, or do you also work on business coaching? And I do both actually. So for coaches and healers, I do typically those that are in the beginning stages do business coaching and combine that as well, because everything's actually related, right? Everything's connected.
Yeah, it all. Wherever you think you're holding back in your life, you're probably holding back in your business as well. How you do one thing is how you do pretty much everything.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. Yeah. And so for those of you who are interested in finding out more about me and my work, I've got an awesome free gift called the Wild Abundance and Ultimate Freedom Blueprint.
Cool.
And it's the 12 keys that actually are the core of my coaching that I believe you really need to not only find and live your purpose fully, but also have the abundant life, create and live the abundant life of ultimate freedom you're here to live. So there's some audio lessons, there's some written exercises, there's a taste of my main tool that I created called Therapeutic Meditation Process.
Mm-hmm.
So people get a taste of those guided practices. They help shift those self-limiting beliefs. So they can get all that, try it out, and if they want more, there's definitely more there to be had as well. So you can find that on tanyapenny.com, and then / kind of a crazy next piece, WAF. I know you're going to have the link underneath, but it's WAUF -blueprint. So tanyapenny.com / oh, yep, and you've got a special link too, Bradley, to put underneath. So
yeah,
you guys can find that
we'll make sure it's there.
Sweet. Jumping ahead, sorry.
No, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. So thank you very much, Tanya. For all the words of advice. Any one soundbite, last minute words of advice before we jump off here?
Yeah, I would say what I say to all my clients: progress, not perfection. Like progress, not perfection, and start taking small baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
You can never, as long as you're taking a small step forward every day, and be willing to make lots of mistakes. Because I don't believe in mistakes.
There's lots of mistakes going on around here. But I'm still making progress.
Absolutely, and that you don't have to do this alone. That was something that I really had to get over, was thinking I should be able to do it alone.
Yeah, it's hard to let go sometimes. So
yeah.
But
so
you don't have to. So
nope.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thanks, Tanya, very much. I appreciate it, and
Thank you.
I hope you have an awesome day.
Thanks, Bradley. You guys too. Bye.